Bruce Lee once said, "Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference." Words are energy, and they cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself, and you can change your life. And what you're not changing, you are also choosing. Most people laugh when they call themselves stupid, broke, or unlucky. But what if that laugh is literally programming your brain to fail? Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you changed everything for people who had nothing left to lose. Here's something your school never told you. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a joke and a command. When you say, "I'm such an idiot," even laughing, your nervous system hears a directive, and it starts building a reality that matches those words. Neuroscientists call it self-referential processing. When you speak about yourself, a special region of your brain, the medial prefrontal cortex, lights up like a Christmas tree. It doesn't analyze tone. It doesn't check for sarcasm. It just records. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist. He was a philosopher who understood something in the 1960s that scientists are only now beginning to prove, that your words are literally shaping your biology. Most people think Bruce Lee was just fast, just powerful, just a movie star. Wrong. Bruce Lee read over 2,000 books. He studied philosophy, psychology, and the hidden mechanics of the human mind. His personal library had books on Zen Buddhism, Jiddu Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, and self-hypnosis. He wrote in his journal every single day, and one of his most repeated themes was this: the mouth is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. He wrote, "As you think, so shall you become." But he went deeper. He believed the words you speak aloud carry 10 times the power of the words you merely think, because speaking involves your whole body, your breath, your vibration. This wasn't mysticism. This was Bruce Lee operating decades ahead of his time. Let me ask you something personal. How many times today have you said something like this? "I'm so tired all the time. I can never stick to anything. I'm just not that smart. Nobody ever listens to me. I always mess things up." If any of those hit home, you are casting a spell on yourself right now, every day. The word spell in spelling, that's not a coincidence. Ancient cultures understood that spoken words were incantations, commands to the universe and to your own subconscious. Modern psychology calls it self-fulfilling prophecy. Your brain is always listening. It's always building the cage that matches the words you give it. And the terrifying part, you don't even notice you're doing it anymore. It's automatic. It's become your identity. So what did Bruce Lee actually do about this? He practiced what he called verbal discipline. He was obsessive about the words that left his mouth, especially about himself. When he was told he'd never make it in Hollywood because he was Chinese, he didn't say, "They're probably right." He wrote on a piece of paper, "I, Bruce Lee, will be the highest paid Oriental superstar in the United States." And he signed it, and he kept it. That's not arrogance, that's programming. He was rewriting his own code. He replaced every negative self-statement with a declarative truth about who he was becoming, not who he currently was. Not "I am the greatest," but "I am becoming the greatest." The difference? Your brain can't argue with becoming. It accepts it as direction, as GPS coordinates to your future self. So now you know the problem. You know why your words are spells. You know why your brain records everything. The jokes, the insults you throw at yourself in the mirror, the sighs, the "I can't," the "I never," the "I always fail." But knowing the problem without the solution is just torture. So let's talk about what you actually do. Bruce Lee didn't just warn people about negative self-talk. He gave us a system, a discipline. And what neuroscience has done in the last 20 years is essentially take Bruce Lee's philosophy and put it under a microscope. And guess what they found? He was right. Here are the 3 language shifts that Bruce Lee's philosophy points to, and that modern neuroscience now backs up with hard data. Shift number 1. And this one alone, if you get nothing else from this video, could change the entire trajectory of your life. Stop saying I am something negative. Start saying I have been doing something. Let me make this real for you. You've probably said, maybe even today, I'm so lazy. Say that out loud right now. Go ahead, I'm lazy. Feel that? Something in your chest just accepted it. Like signing a contract, like agreeing to a life sentence. Because I am are the 2 most powerful words in the human language. Whatever you put after them, you are sending a blueprint to your subconscious mind and saying, build this, make this true, prove this. Your brain doesn't hear I am lazy as a complaint. It hears it as an instruction. And like a loyal soldier, it gets to work, finding every piece of evidence to confirm it, filtering out every moment you were disciplined, every time you did show up, every win you actually had. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. Your brain becomes a lawyer, and I am lazy is the case it has to win. But here's where Bruce Lee's wisdom meets modern neuroscience. The moment you shift from a label to a process, the whole game changes. Instead of, I am lazy, try this. I have been choosing comfort over discipline, but that is a choice. And choices can be changed. Did you feel that? That's not just semantics, that is a neurological unlock. When you say I am, you're talking about your identity. And identity feels fixed, permanent, like a tattoo on your soul. But when you say I have been, you're talking about behavior. And behavior is just a pattern, and patterns can be interrupted, upgraded, replaced. Dr. Carol Dweck at Stanford calls this the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And it all starts, not in your actions, but in 3 words. I have been. Bruce Lee understood this intuitively. He never said, I am weak. He said, I have not yet developed this. He never said, I am limited. He said, I have not yet found the method. That's not positive thinking, that's precision thinking. So the next time you catch yourself about to paste a negative label on your soul, stop, rephrase, move from identity to behavior, from permanent to changeable, from a sentence to a starting line. Shift number 2. And this one is the sneakiest, the most dangerous, because it hides behind a smile. We've all done it. Someone asks how you're doing and you say, oh, you know me, I'm a mess. Ha, I'm basically a walking disaster. Story of my life, I always screw these things up. And everyone laughs. And you laugh. And it feels bonding, relatable, human. But your nervous system, it isn't laughing. Here's something that will haunt you if you really let it land. Your subconscious mind has no sense of humor. None. Zero. It does not understand sarcasm, irony, jokes, or self-deprecating wit. It is the most literal entity you will ever encounter. Every self-deprecating joke you tell about being broke, being ugly, being dumb, being unlucky, being the kind of person things never work out for, your subconscious mind receives it as a declaration of fact. Think about that. Every laugh at your own expense is a vote cast for a smaller life. Now, I'm not telling you to become one of those unbearable people who takes everything seriously and can never laugh at themselves. That's not the point. The point is this: there is a difference between laughing at a situation and casting a spell on your identity. You can laugh at the fact that you burned dinner. That's situational, that's fine. But the moment you say, ha, because of course I ruined it, I always ruin everything, you just crossed a line. You just handed your subconscious a script it will spend the next 24 hours acting out. Bruce Lee wrote in his journals about the discipline of the tongue. He said the master controls not just his fists, but his words, especially the words he speaks about himself. Because he knew, and now we have the science to prove it, that your words activate your nervous system. They release hormones. They shift your cortisol levels. They literally change your body chemistry in real time. That joke you just told about yourself? It spiked your stress response. It lowered your confidence hormones. It told your immune system, on a chemical level, that you are under threat. So what's the alternative? The alternative is not fake positivity. I'm not asking you to walk around saying, I am amazing and perfect and everything is wonderful while your life is falling apart. That's not authentic, and your brain will reject it. The alternative is neutrality and direction. Instead of, I always mess things up, try, I'm figuring this out. Instead of, I'm a disaster, try, I'm in a messy season and messy seasons don't last. Instead of, I'm so broke it's embarrassing, try, my relationship with money is something I'm actively changing. See the difference? You're not lying to yourself. You're just stopping the poisoning of the well. Because every time you make a joke at your own expense, you're not just making someone laugh, you're drinking poison and hoping someone else finds it funny. Stop poisoning your own well. Your words are declarations, even the ones dressed as jokes. Make sure what you're declaring is something you actually want to be true. Shift number 3, and this one is where the real power lives. Because shifts 1 and 2 are about stopping something. Stopping labels, stopping jokes that harm. But shift 3 is about starting something, about taking the energy you've been wasting on complaints and turning it into jet fuel. Here's the truth about complaints that nobody tells you. Complaining feels like release, like you're letting off pressure, but neurologically, and this is backed by research from Stanford and the University of Missouri, chronic complaining actually rewires your brain to see more problems, feel more negativity, and become physiologically worse at solving the very issues you're complaining about. In other words, complaining is a trap disguised as relief. And one of the most common complaints people make, they make them about themselves. I'm always broke. I never get opportunities. I can't lose weight no matter what I try. Nobody ever gives me a chance. Every one of those statements is a complaint, and your brain responds to complaints by shutting down the part of itself responsible for creative problem solving, the prefrontal cortex, and lighting up the threat response system instead. Meaning, when you complain, you literally become less intelligent, less creative, less capable of finding the solution you desperately need. Bruce Lee understood this. He said, showing off is the fool's idea of glory. And I believe the same applies to complaining. Complaining is a fool's idea of processing pain. The master processes pain through motion, through direction, through commands. So here's how you make the shift. Take your complaint, any complaint, and transform it into a command, a directive to your brain about where to go. I'm always broke. That's a complaint. It tells your brain we are stuck here, this is our address, this is home. But try this instead. I am learning how money works. I am building a new relationship with wealth. I am finding one thing I can do today to change my financial situation. That is a command. And when you issue a command to your subconscious mind, something extraordinary happens. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that acts like a search engine, filtering the 2 million bits of information hitting your senses every second, it recalibrates. It starts looking for evidence of the new command. You start noticing the book about financial literacy you've walked past 100 times. You notice the free course someone mentions in conversation. You notice the person at the party who does exactly what you want to learn how to do. Not because these things just appeared, they were always there, but your brain was filtering them out. Because your complaint told it this is hopeless. Don't bother looking. The complaint closed the door. The command opens 1,000 windows. Let's do one more example, because I want this to be real for you. I can never lose weight no matter what I try. That's a complaint, and it's also a lie your brain has convinced you is a fact. Now transform it. I am discovering what works for my body. I am learning the habits that create health. I am becoming someone who treats their body as a temple, one small decision at a time. Did you feel the energy of that shift? From defeat to direction, from complaint to command. Same person, same situation, completely different neurological response. Your brain doesn't know you haven't started yet. It begins preparing for the journey the moment the command is issued. Bruce Lee said, if you always put limits on what you can do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work, into your life. There are no limits, there are only plateaus. And you must not stay there, you must go beyond them. Read that again. There are no limits, there are only plateaus. And I want you to understand something profound right now. Your words, the negative labels, the self-deprecating jokes, the endless complaints, those are the plateaus Bruce Lee was talking about. Not your circumstances, not your bank account, not your past, not the people who doubted you. Your words are the plateau, the glass ceiling, the invisible wall. And here's what should give you chills right now. If your words built that plateau, then your words can dissolve it. The same power that created the prison holds the key. You didn't need more money to build that plateau. You didn't need connections or luck or talent. You built it, word by word, joke by joke, complaint by complaint, without even trying. Imagine what you could build if you tried, if you were intentional, if you treated every word about yourself as a sacred act of creation. Because that's what Bruce Lee did. He didn't just train his body, he trained his mouth, his internal dialogue, his declarations about who he was and who he was becoming. And that, more than the kicks, more than the speed, more than the philosophy, that is why Bruce Lee became Bruce Lee. 3 shifts, that's all it takes to begin. Labels to processes, jokes to declarations, complaints to commands. You don't have to change your life today. You just have to change the next sentence you speak about yourself. Start there. Everything else will follow. I want to ask you something, and I actually want you to answer this in the comments right now. What is one negative thing you say about yourself most often? And what is the new command you're going to replace it with starting today? Write it below, not for me, for you. Because the act of writing it, declaring it publicly, makes it 42% more likely to stick, according to research from the Dominican University of California. The comment section right now is a transformation zone. Use it. You may want to rewatch shifts 1 and 2. Most people miss something important the first time. Hey, thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support really helps us create more inspiring videos like this one. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think or what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video, and until then, stay blessed and stay inspired.